Do you want to retire early? Do you want to retire early somewhere other than where you're living right now? You are in the right place because that's what we're talking about today all day. Hey, my name is Rashida Dow, and I am the hostess with the mostest over here on the channel called Rashida. And I retired early at 38, and I've been living abroad in Mexico City since that fateful day. Well, basically, I took a 1 year trip around the world visiting 40 something cities in 20 something countries. A good way to spend a year. Not a good way to plan an around the world trip. But hey, we're here. Good morning. If you're watching this on the replay, drop a comment so I know you were here. Let your presence be known. Take up space. Take up space and let your presence be known. If you're watching this live, hey. Good morning to my partner in all of my crimes, Miss Stephanie Perry. I hope she's having a better today than her past week because, child, she's been going through it. Good morning to Cheryl in the membership, Amina in the membership, and on the Exodus Summit team, and Lana, Octavia, D, Ty. Y'all are moving pretty fast now. I can't. I'm not good at keeping up with this. Good morning. Thank you for being here. New Life Curator. Today we're going to talk about retiring early abroad. I did it. It can be done. And when I did it, I want to say this up front. When I did it, when my story was made public, a whole bunch of people, a lot of whom don't look like me, were like, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to be broke in 2 days. You're not going to be successful. You can't do this. And to them, I say, sucks to be you. Because here I am, flourishing. So we're going to talk about how you can flourish too, because not everybody believes it's possible, but I strongly believe that unless you think something's possible, you'll never do it. So I'm here today to tell you it's possible and to get you to believe that it's possible, because you can't do it until you believe it's possible. I sent my niece wants to be a free diver. And so an article crossed my timeline this week about a guy who, that's when you dive with no oxygen tank. That man was under the water for 13 minutes on one breath, no oxygen. He held his breath for 13 minutes. Now, something, he had more oxygen in his system than the regular person before. Blah, blah, details. It's like Phelps, right? Like Phelps, you're not going to swim like Phelps because you're not built like Phelps, right? Like, we know this. That man was born to be a dolphin. He's built like, I'm not built like him. I'm not going to swim like him. My niece may never free dive for 30 minutes, but now we know it's possible. She might be able to, right? She might, underwater with that one breath for 30 minutes? Like they say, every time someone breaks a world record, it's easier for the next person to break that record. Because you don't know it's possible to go that fast. You don't know it's possible to hold your breath for that long. You don't know it's possible for you to retire early unless you believe you can retire early. So that is that's the welcome part. Let's get to the details. Let me see what I'm missing in the comments because y'all be talking sometimes. Hello. You like the blouse? I got this in Uruguay in 2018 or late 18 or early 19 in Uruguay from Zara. that very fancy and maybe foreign to you store, Zara. Yes. All right. Good morning. All right, Jay. Hello, JG. D says, I have been retired 6.5 years and haven't had to touch my retirement accounts. I have been retired 2018, 7 years. And at first, I've never touched my retirement accounts. I did touch my non-retirement accounts for a little bit, but I have not touched them in at least 5 years. Stephanie says, every win for somebody else gets me closer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so first, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the where's, why's, what's, how's. I got some questions. If you're watching this, hey, back up a second. I normally do my live streams for the fam. You're in the comments now. You know this. I don't need to start from the top. But a little bit today, I'm going to start for someone who's watching me for the first time. If you're watching me for the first time, stick around. It's going to get a little boop, 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 boop all over the place, but we're going to get to the end together. Okay, so work with me, walk with me. We're doing this. All right. Where are my notes? All right. Why? This is for those of you who are new here. If you've been here for a while, you got a why already. But we're just gonna start. I love to start with a why. So why? Why retire early? Working sucks. Working is for the making rich men richer. And being tied into the system, because without it, if you get a finger ache, you might die. I was not put. I saw somebody comment yesterday on a video, and it said, this person, it was a funny thing to say about the person. It wasn't meant as a mean thing. It was a funny thing. But this person was evidence that when God's up there cooking, he's not watching the pot. He just letting anything happen. He's not watching the pot when he up there cooking. And it was hilarious because it was meant in like a funny, jovial way, not a mean way. If you believe in God, you can't believe that this is what I was not put on this earth solely to labor and feel trapped in a system that more and more, I don't want to say it's beginning to resemble slavery, because I think that that does not give it slavery the depth it deserves, and the reverence is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. But these people try to bring it back. These people are trying to get us as close to slavery as their version of the Constitution, after they make some edits and some deletes, will allow them to. And it's not for me. So that's why I can't imagine going back to work, because even the people who, how many Black women did you know loved their job 2 years ago? Not a lot, right? You probably knew some Black women who loved their job 2 years ago, and now they may not have that job. They may not have that job because we're all DEI hires, no matter what we do. No matter how skilled we are, no matter how better educated we are than everybody else. Celeste, we don't bite our tongue around here. I can't be the only one. So we don't bite our tongue around here. And why retire abroad? There's some really basic reasons, but if you're watching this video, you probably live in a country that sucks. Goshan is here from London. The UK sucks. Hi, friends over there. A lot of y'all are from America. America said, how low can we go? How low can we go? Lower. It's going to get lower. Hell is going to get hotter. I'm smiling, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. It is obvious to me that they don't want Black people to have paying jobs. All the paying jobs belong to white men. So what are you going to do when you don't get a paying job? They are going to put you in prison. And that's Y'all know where we are. Y'all know why you're here. We know what we're doing. Okay, let's get to the retirement because we gotta get out. All of y'all gotta get out. Okay, first question that I want you guys to add to the comments. Type it in. Let me know. The first thing you need to think about is how you define retirement. And I want you to write in the chat if you're watching now, if you're watching on the replay, write in the chat how you define retirement. I define retirement as working when I want to, with who I want to, and as little as possible. Right? I work when I want to. It's summit season, so I work. Oh, this is going to sound crazy. It's summit season. So I work 4 days a week, 4 whole days a week, with at least 4 hours of work a day, 4 days a week. So I'm working at least 16 hours a week. I'm working with who I want. I work with Miss Stephanie Perry and our team of lovely people. And I work now in summit season. I work from August to October, and then or beginning of October, and then I am a vacation fairy. And if I don't want to work, I don't work at all. Retirement for me is creating the terms under which I work and the work not controlling my life, right? I would love to be on a beach right now. No, I don't really like the beach. I say that, but I don't really like the beach. I would love to be by a pool in a very moderate climate right now. Give me like a 84, an umbrella, sun umbrella, a pool. That's me. But I work because I work these 3 months and it pays for my life all year round, right? It's not the easiest work, but like I said, it's 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And I also don't have to. If I said to Stephanie today, actually, the other day, Stephanie said, you shouldn't even be doing this. You're wireless. She said something like, if I were you, I wouldn't even do none of this. Like, I know. But I'm here and I'm in it. I'm here. And she was like, I wouldn't do a thing. I don't have to work. At any point, I can say no, thank you, and chill. That's what retirement means for me. When I first retired, it was absolutely nothing. I'm doing absolutely nothing. And those are the years I touched my non-retirement money. Those are the years. All right, so let me see some of your definitions. Patty Palmer says work optional. And she's doing fun work now when she wants to. Yes, Patty. Okay. Danielle says, I define retirement as having freedom to do what I want when I want to do it. Yes. Hey, Kim says financial and time freedom to work when, where, and how I want. Yes. Go Shan says reclaiming my time and where I choose to allocate that time. Never mind. Let me not say where she's choosing. I don't know if it's public. I define retirement as freedom and peace. I missed the Classy Hackers comment, but Celeste says retirement is a made-up concept to convince you that your normal state should be working. Yes. Yes. Can I find your comment, Classy Hacker? I can't find it. It's missing for me. Yes. Retirement is a made-up concept to convince you that your normal state should be working. It shouldn't. When the all-knowing was cooking in the pot, was he like, you know what would be really good? I want to make all these people so they can go down and make sure Jeff Bezos has 17 yachts. I cannot believe that is what was intended when there are all these berries and plants and fields to frolic in. I read something the other day and it was like, we know we have enough food on this planet to feed everyone right now, and it's rotting in places. We know we have enough clothes to feed the next, to clothe the next 6 generations of people. We have enough food for the entire planet. We have enough housing for everyone on this planet. We have enough clothes. All of our basic needs could be met for generations with what we have now. And that's their biggest fear, right? Because then who's shopping on Amazon? I was not. I had fields to frolic in. All right, Stephanie wants to be in charge of her time. CK defines retirement as no job, not working, living on the income from pension, social security, no schedule, freedom of time, and place commitments. Yes. Michelle says retirement for me is retiring for a job that you didn't want to do in the first place. If you don't have retirement funds, you have to work anyway. But if you do what you love, no need to retire. Parasani has a great definition. Retiring for me is when my life and time belong to me, not an employer or creditor. Time and financial freedom. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. We have frolicking to do. I don't ever get to just be naked walking down the street because we've instituted moral codes and what I can't just rude. Rude. Okay, the hustle queen. First of all, we're gonna talk about your name again, girl. You showed up with the same name. I got my eye on you. I never thought about retirement until now, but my days got filled with work, and I always thought I would teach dance until I die. Which, if you love it, yes. But if you have to do it to survive, a little less, yeah, right? If you have to labor every day for the rest of your life to survive, a little less, yeah. Okay, I saw a question. Hi, Dr. Donna, the art appraiser. I wanted to get to 84 is not moderate. 84 is like, I want to be by the pool, I'll get in the pool, I'll get out. That's as hot as I want it to be. 84 is hot for me. That's why I was by the pool. Yes, I could see where you got that from. I saw a question about retiring with student loans. How do you retire student loans and regular debt? We don't talk about, I'm start this MM992090, and we're gonna talk about this in a minute. But first, okay. If you've been watching this channel for a while, what is the next step I'm going to ask you to do? We've already defined our why. So what do we need to do next? Because no matter what we're talking about, my basic theories are the same. My basic process is the same. What's your why, right? What's the goal? Time freedom, independence, not working for other people, not working till you die. Next step. Somebody hit me in the comments. I know one of y'all knows. Come on. We all know our numbers. You gonna do the math. But not this math. We're gonna do a different math first. The first math we're doing is how much do you have today, right? What is our starting point? What is your starting point? Now, I talked about this, I think last week, some week. What is time? I want you to do the math and figure out everything you have access to now, right? What are the secret stashes of money you've squirreled away? What is I don't know, what that money in that 401k or that you didn't roll over from your last job? Get to it, right? What is the money you have now is our first step. How many of you can honestly sit with yourself and say you know what that number is? I'm telling you, I know what that number is because the first of every month, I have a spreadsheet. The first of every month, I go into every single account I have, and whether it's non-retirement or retirement, and I have them broken out as well. I write down to the penny how much money is in that account. To the penny, how much money is in that account? Because I don't. All right. Who else? KB knows. Anybody else? Exactly how much money you have. Maybe not. Maybe you're a month off, but not like I don't know in the last 6 months. You have an idea. Patty knows. Every single dollar you have access to, you know. Love liaison checks her 401k weekly. Y'all are doing good. I know I got some ostriches burying their head in the sand. Where y'all at? I know. Come on. It's a safe space. I promise. There's no judgment. I've already judged the Hustle Queen's name, so there's no other judgment happening today. Maybe a little bit, not about this. I wouldn't judge you about this. No one's going to admit that they don't know, but they've been avoiding looking. These are my disappointed teacher eyes. All right, since not one of y'all is going to step to the front, and y'all, everybody knows how much money you have. Oh, Dr. Kishi, thank you. She's an ostrich. Appreciate it. All right, Dr. Kishi, your job is to un-ostrich. Get that head out the sand, right? Get the head out the sand. How much money do you have today? We're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about when you retire. Michelle, we're saying today. How much money do you have? I said it was a safe space. It's never a safe space for Amina, just FYI. And she knows that. She knew that when she wrote that. Just make up numbers and exaggerate them. Amina uses multiple planners every week. Make one of them your money planner, Amina. Make one of them your money planner because MM says Justin savings account. Anywhere you have a dollar, that dollar is yours. You got a retirement account, you got an old something, you got this, you got that. Some of you got multiple savings accounts, some of y'all got sinking funds. Wherever every dollar, my checking account money counts. Okay, so I love y'all, but some of y'all don't listen. Remember when I just told Amina to make one of her, I don't want to give away the number, make one of her multiple planners, a money planner. She's talking about it's on the way. I ordered it last week. I just taking a new planner for money. What do y'all, you know what? All right. Parasonic says she's working on her multi-budget finances right now. Tomorrow's a new month. All the money. You need to know every single dollar you have. Not just cash on hand, baby. Not just cash on hand. Every dollar, anywhere it may be. Right? Because retiring might take more than cash on hand. One of y'all said, I think it was, Dr. Kishi says, I'm scared, but I don't have enough. You'll never have enough if you don't have a number. You'll never have enough. You'll be scared for the next 45 years. You'll be taking the people to Jamaica on your trips, scared, unable to process. Because you don't know nothing. For all things, until you face them, the answer is always bad. It's always bad. When you're waiting to find out your results from a doctor, you're not like, yay. When I got my biopsy on my neck, the doctor was like, I think you might have thyroid cancer. It's a little clip and find out. When I was waiting for the results, it wasn't like, oh, I'm fine. It's gonna be great. It's so great. It was like, right? Like, that's what happens. And then when I got the results, it was like, no, you're fine. You just get sick a lot. We don't know what that is. It was gluten. My friends, it was gluten. But yes, it was not thyroid cancer. It was gluten. And I didn't know until I took the test. I didn't know until I got the results. So we don't get our results. Because it might not be thyroid cancer, Dr. Kishi. It might be gluten. And you can do something about gluten. You can do something about that, right? I got you. All right. And then the classy hacker says, my ex owes me money. We are a full service collection agency round here. Where does he live? We gonna send somebody to the house. Tell us. Tell us, how much he owe you, girl? Do we all know somebody knows somebody in that town who can go get you your money? Community. When we talk about community, this is I don't know. This is what I mean when I talk about community. We don't send somebody. All right. Oh, refreshing words of Danielle, who just came back from a break in Cuenca, Ecuador, says, I check my accounts weekly as part of my sabbatical planning motivation ritual. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Just this first sentence. I read nothing else with this first sentence, but we're going to stop here and congratulate Letter by PNW. Once I ran the numbers, I knew I was free. Once I ran the numbers, I knew I was free. And somebody else who has not done the numbers yet is going to run the numbers today and realize they're free. Well, I did not know when I was losing my job, I was like, oh my God. And then I ran the numbers and I was like, I think I could take at least a year off. And I have not gone back to work for the man since then. And that was 7 years ago. Once I ran the numbers, I knew I was free. Until you run the numbers, you are not free. Like Kishi said, it's scary if you don't know. All right. Halisi says, oh, there we go. Include the money tied up in your house. Do you have equity in your house, beloved? House money. House money is the most precious, beautiful money to me in the world. If you got house money, pat yourself on the back and then remind yourself that you worked hard for that. House money doesn't just happen. If you have equity in your house, if you have house money, you worked for that. It's yours. And when you're ready, you can spend it. That's your money. Yes. Okay, now here comes another problem. CK says, every time I hit my number, I want more. I'm guessing her number is a goal. That's the American way. And that's why most people don't retire early. Honestly, most people don't retire early because I want to say Americans, but it's probably a very Western thing. The idea that it's never enough, right? It's never enough. I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday from law school, and I try not to say too much because anyone who watches from law school knows what I'm talking about. It's not bad, but she was talking about property ownership, and I was like, if I had stayed in one of those jobs that was killing me daily, I would probably own multiple properties too. And it was this like realization that like financially I'm doing well, but I sacrificed something and I'm not doing as well as my peers. But what I sacrificed was some terribleness and I gained some greatness. And so I'm okay with that. Like it was just a moment of being like talking to someone I hadn't talked to maybe in like 10 years and being like, dang, like we were on the, like I have this a lot with like one of my other friends is like a judge, right? Like realizing that, and I am a somewhat employed community person, right? Like we were talking about our law school graduations coming up, so we were talking about it. And I was like, like my life would look different if I'd stayed on the path. And that's often what stops us from living our best life. Because if you're thinking about getting off the path, it's probably the right choice for you, right? It's rare that someone is like, oh, I'd like to retire. But if I just work 5 more years, and at the end of the day, that working 5 years was the right choice. Could be for somebody. But for most people, If you're already thinking about getting out, it's time to get out. Every time you hit your number, you want more is so American because there's no such thing as enough, right? They tell you to live comfortably, you need, first it was like $1 million. Now it's two. And then in 2 years, it's going to be 10. If you don't have $10 million, you can't retire. It's going to be Fortune. One of those magazines that like purports to be like just about money for the people, but it's really underneath it all, it is really about enforcing capitalism and keeping us all in line. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones who are like, nobody likes uh, nobody likes working from home, so return to work is the best idea ever. Just enforcing capitalism and trying to get us all in line. One of those magazines is going to be like, if you don't have $10 million, we're going to start from maybe five in like 2 years. If you don't have $5 million, retirement is just not available for you. And so we think that's true. We think, oh, if I don't have $1 million, I can't work. Or because there's no easy button to say, if I have this amount of money, I'll be set for the rest of my life. It's really easy to say, what if I just get a little more, right? When I was going to take my year break, I talked to my therapist and I was like, what if I don't go? Perfect situation. My job is done. My lease is up. I ain't got no man. Some friends going to take care of my dog. Perfect situation. I am solo dolo in the world. I don't have no kids I know about. Let's go. I was like, what if I just worked for like got a job that I don't want? What if I've got a job that I don't want? And I worked for like another year or two to really set money aside for this trip. And she was like, ew, like you're bullshitting. She was like, what's wrong? Like, if you don't go now, you're not going to go. That's kind of the same way I feel like I was in that same situation. Like I could do it now, but I could wait. Is this really so bad? I was seeing my therapist because it really was that bad. My body was breaking down. Like I had an autoimmune issue that almost sent me to the hospital after one work meeting. Because if I can't stab this man at the job, how am I supposed to express these feelings? Because words aren't working. Words aren't working. And apparently fighting on the job is frowned upon. So I just have to internalize these feelings and my body just breaks down. Yes. And even still, I was like, but what if I just waited and I got more? Because there's no set magic number that means it's going to be safe for you. So it's easy to hit a number and say, but what about the next number? What about the next number? Because you don't know what the number you have is going to be the magic number. The number isn't magic, you're magic. The magic is in the magic of however much you have, what you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to spend your time. That magic is in you. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else. There's no magic number. You're the magic. Pick a number. CK, you've hit your number at least once. That's your number. Stick with it. All right. Let me see what y'all talking about. If there's one thing I'm gonna do when I am breaking up with somebody is remind them that they owe me money. A man hit me up maybe like a couple years ago after not talking to me for years on his business account, but he shares with multiple people. And when I was like, until you pay me my money, don't show up around here, he was mad that I would embarrass him on his business account. I told you we had nothing to talk about until I got my money. And you showed up to talk without my money? And I'm telling you, this can't be more than like $200. I don't care. Run me my coins, and then you can say hello. Until then, you shouldn't show up and think it's a safe. I am not a safe space for them. Okay. All right. Let's see. Equity is included. Yes. Our Black Utopia says, CK, if you don't stop playing and retire. Yes, yes, yes. That old lady told us we need $1 billion to retire. It's so hard for me to recognize, for me to acknowledge and accept. I recognize it, but recognizing isn't the hard part. The acknowledging and accepting that she's not for us. Like she may have been, but she's not for us. It hurts. As a latchkey kid coming home, all right. All right. Okay. Free Black lady, who I believe is a therapist. No, wait, I can't tell who that is. No, that's not. You're not who I thought it was. And you're in the membership. What is she? Recalibrating just enough continues to help me flourish and define wealth on my terms. Just enough continues to help me flourish and define wealth in my terms. They keep upping the numbers. No one ever feels like it's okay to stop working. Yes. Oh, Susie Orman already said 5 million. Yes. Yes. She's a shill for capitalism. That man whose name we don't say around here, you know, the racist one? A shill for capitalism, nothing else. He don't care about your money. He don't care about your money. He cares about keeping people in line, working hard. Listen. They make sure healthcare is the variable that will derail all your numbers, which is why this video is about retiring abroad. You know, Stephanie just had a doctor come to her house covered under her $1,800 a year healthcare plan. In the US, are you going to get a doctor to come to your home for $1,800? No, you're not. $1,800 a year in Colombia. She got someone to come to her house. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. If I'm wrong, she'll tell me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure. She will get a new crown, an implant over there. We'll see how much it costs. I went to, listen, I scheduled my dentist appointment yesterday, and I think it's going to be like less than $25 to go for a cleaning. Because I don't live in a place that has made being alive a luxury. Feeling good in your body, surviving from, y'all gonna make me talk about that raggedy half man, half worm. Some of y'all live in a country where they put people who don't believe in science in charge of scientists and science. And I am bewildered. I live in a country where one day I got an email from my apartment complex, and they said, hey, the health department's coming through today. You want a flu shot? Come to the lobby. You know what that cost me? Settle. No dollars. In the lobby of, well, not the lobby, but like, you know, the little side room. Come in. Now there was a screaming child in front of me and a screaming child behind me. I paid. I paid that way. But I live in and this is without any health insurance. The health agency, the city health, whatever, and ask no questions. They didn't ask no questions. They say, you want a flu shot? Not do you live here? Not are you visiting? No, I didn't have to prove a thing. I had to be a human on the ground. I was in Canada and I got I think a flu shot and a COVID shot. And you know how they have like their socialized medicine, whatever. I was like, I don't live here. So I'm not, he asked me something. And I was like, hey, I won't be in your system because I don't live here. And he was like, okay. Like, you're physically here and we don't want you getting sick and passing it around. So we gonna what? Immunize you. We gonna what? Give you some vaccines. I don't want y'all living in a country where your health is less important than a company's bottom line. And so we're talking about moving abroad. Yes. Yes. All right. Dee says, after running the numbers, she realized she was free and that I couldn't take it. And y'all read that? Y'all read that comment? After running the numbers, realized I was free and that I couldn't take it with me. And my job had me feeling like some kind of health crisis was coming, so I left at 51, been almost 3 years. You can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. I know a lot of y'all want to leave it for your kids, your grandkids, whatever. I'm leaving money to my nieces and nephews, but they got to get what's left over. They got to get the scraps of what's left over. Me planning my life and how I'm going to spend my money when I'm alive, I'm not thinking about them. Y'all can get whatever. I have first to buy. You can get the first. You want a ring? You want this purse? You can get that. But until then, I'm gonna be blowing my money on me, my vacations, and my things. Cause I'm gonna live this life. Wait a minute. We only get one? We only get one of these? Woo! I'm gonna live this life. I'm gonna live it. Yes. Okay. What y'all doing? All right. Yes. You are magic. You are magic. You are the magic. All of the magic is in you. Ain't no magic numbers. Ain't no magic place. Ain't no magic other people. That's their magic. You are your magic. Yolanda is in Spain. She's in Zaragoza, Spain, with her daughter and her granddaughters. Not almost retired. She may not know it, but she almost retired. And she's at peace. She's at peace. We're going to talk about how Yolanda in Spain in a minute. I'm going to talk about that. Let's see. Cannot crowdsource solutions. Yes, baby. Where is my money? When I say I love y'all, this is how I love y'all. Oh, it's Sharice. Hey, boo boo. Yes. Okay. Once a casual acquaintance that I was interested, Sharice knows about freedom. Sharice, will you be my guest next week? Have we talked about this before? I'd be forgetting stuff. Once a casual acquaintance that I was interested in asked me to loan him $5,000 to pay off a school loan. I told him, if your mom and your aunt aren't investing in you, then I'm not either. Your granddaddy didn't say, yes, he's worth it? You don't look like a good bet to them? No. Okay. Okay. Sharice says, my woman's wellness gynecological exam is 50 USD in Mexico. Cavity refills are 50 USD. Susie Orman is the one that kept me believing I did not have a way out of or to the fake American dream. We're doing this here. We got a little distracted, but we're doing this here. We're doing this. Amina says her health insurance in Mexico will be about $1,900 annually. All right. Oh, y'all are talking. Okay, I take out to bed. All right. How much money do you have? Next question. The next question I have for you guys is, how much money will you need to support yourself? Not forever, for like 3 years. Right? Do you have a number that you cost in the place you want to be, right? We're going to talk about that if you don't know yet. In the place you want to be, do you have a number that it will take to support yourself for 3 years? I had my number for 1 year. I was like, I can spend this much money in 1 year. I'll be fine. After I did that, and this is where I say we're the magic. After I spent my money for the year, I was like, now that I know what freedom feels, you're not going to see me back on the factory. You're not going to see me back on the factory after 3 years. It's not. After 1 year, you're not going to do that. After 3 years, you're not going back. You're not going back. It's not. What I had to do, so my number for the year, I gave myself like a budget. I was traveling around the world. I hit a new city every week for 52 weeks. No, I stopped for 3 quarters. I did that. The last quarter, I stayed mostly in Shanghai, Asia, mostly. Classy Hacker says, see, that's the problem. Don't know exactly where exactly I want to be. That is a problem, but that's not the problem. Because what you could do is decide how much money you're willing to spend a year for 3 years, and then go in a place that'll fit that budget. Or go to a place that's close to that budget and like make it work for yourself. Sharice is preaching. Listen, if you can take the first step and take 1 year, I promise you the rest sorts itself out. I promise you, if you can take 1 year away and get out of the American programming or the British programming or wherever in the world you are, if you can take a year away and get away from this really toxic programming, it's much easier to build a new life, even if you feel like you're building from scratch. Even if you feel like you don't have a foundation, it's much easier to have a foundation in faith, right? And nothing else than to have all the stuff and fear, which is what's ingrained in us in the US. Take 1 year. I didn't think I was going to be gone forever. Stephanie was like, I'm just going to quit my job and come back and get a new one. And then eventually she stopped coming back and getting a new job. Eventually she was like, I can cobble some things together and not work anymore. Not work traditionally, right? Y'all play too much. Totally away, like no studying to get the job I really want. Yes, you know that's what I mean, Classy Hacker. You know that's what I mean. A year. If you can give yourself a year of breathing room, let's call it your retirement run. We're just going to take a little test. We're going to test out retirement for a year and do that. You're not going to want to come back. Thriving on Enough says, I retired at 58 4 years ago, far less than the American way. Be free. Yes. Okay. T. Kelly says, fear of running out of money is real after being conditioned all these decades, afraid but doing it anyway, step by step. Yes. How much money do you need to support yourself for 3 years? Right? Another way to do that could be to figure out from the math you just did, where can you live for 3 years on that money? And we've talked about how to do stuff like that before, to look at cost calculators, like The World Awaits and numbio.com. Someone's going to type those. No, you can't talk. They won't be live, but oh, I'm typing poorly today. You can, those are all ways that you can find things, information, about what living places will cost you. You can talk to people in Facebook groups. There's a lot of ways to find out. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on that today. If you want me to do a separate video about that, I can. But I've been talking about this for 6 years online, so you've probably heard me say something before. But yeah, so how much money do you have? How much money do you want to spend on yourself for 3 years is one way to do it. The other way is to go backwards and say, how much money do I have? Divide that by 3. Where can I live on this budget for a year, right? Which brings us to our where. Where are we going? I invited Sharice on this channel. I didn't see a response, but she's coming in here dropping these gems. And I don't know why she would be here dropping these gems if she didn't want to come on the channel and talk to me. Why? What is she? My inner work on shifting from scarcity mindset to abundance continues because my former ceilings become the floor. Can we? My inner work on shifting from scarcity mindset to abundance continues because my former ceilings become the floor. And when I say I knew Sharice before, we'd met before she left, right? We have mutual friends. And I think it's fair to say, I don't want to say too much, but I think it's fair to say that not only are her former ceilings the floor in a monetary perspective, but also in a life perspective, the fullness, right? The joy, the peace that she has now. So it's not just more money, it's more satisfaction. It's like more alignment with who you truly are, more visibility. Because a lot of times when we're working and we are tired and we are burnt out, we no longer know who we are. Who are we in this moment? We are just humans trying to survive. And that can get old. I love it for her. I love it. Like I'm welling up a little bit. I think I'm a little emotional today. Hormones. And so there's an immense, like I know a lot of you through Exodus Summit, but when I see those of you that I knew outside of Exodus Summit living this life, like a friend hit me up this week and she was like, I'm in Brazil. I was like, visiting and I went through her thingy and I'm like, she lives in Brazil. She lives in Bahia, it looks like. So we may be seeing her next year when Exodus Summit goes to Brazil. Details coming soon. I was like, it means so much to me when I see this because you, like the Exodus Summit ladies, I know you in progress, a lot of you. But the women I've met before Exodus Summit, I met you in the dark, right? My dark, your dark, a lot of struggle. We weren't in progress yet. And so seeing how life has changed for me, how life changes for you is just phenomenal. And it like, oof, feeling feels. Yolanda, who I met in progress. When I tell you I had no idea how attending Exodus Summit 2022 would immensely impact my entire life, it was just the beginning. And this feels like a good time to talk about an important fact. Exodus Summit 2022 was about move abroad money and Exodus Summit 2025 is about more Move Abroad money, because we're talking about money. And some of y'all aren't going to be what you need, where you want to be yet. No, I know. I can type and spell at the same time. I promise. You may not be where you want to be right now. And if there's a gap, which we're going to talk about next, if there's a gap, you owe it to yourself to fill the gap to get to where you want to be. Now, I am actively selling tickets to an event that can help you get there. But this event is happening whether you show up or not, right? Like, I'm committed to it. I told Stephanie she needed to tighten up because she out here being sick and stuff. And now that we've announced tickets are on sale, ain't no more time to be sick. We over that. We past that. Whether you there are those of you who've come to Exodus Summit and not enough that you know that like y'all gonna get the benefit of the money you pay for a ticket and more. And there are those of you that don't. And so I know it kind of might sound self-serving to be like, this is the thing that can fill the gap. But it is. And whether you show up or not, the gap is going to be filled for Black women. I want you to be there. I want your gap filled. That's what she said. But I want the joy that comes from you guys knowing that Susie Orman was wrong, right? Susie Orman was wrong. I don't even remember the other man's name because I listen. I'm so good at blocking people out. That one man. When I saw his face the other day, and I was like, I forgot he was living. Scroll. I want this for you guys. I want you to fill the gap. And so we're going to talk about filling the gap. We're going to talk about the gap, right? Between where you are and where you want to be and how to fill it. I mentioned Black Yourself was living in Exodus Summit, lived in Lisbon for 3.5 years, attended Exodus Summit all of the first year. And she had attended special Exodus Summit things about making money. And she's making money. Coincidence? I don't think so. Mm-mm. No, Christine, I don't hate Tony Robbins with the passion of 1,000 suns. It's that other man. KB wrote his name. KB Hustle Queen says, my friend asked me what I would do if I had $2 million. So I would pay off my debts and move to Mexico. He couldn't believe I would still leave. The American mindset is hard to break. It's so like we have been indoctrinated to believe that America is the best country in the world. They shooting up churches and schools. They don't do that nowhere else. Name another country where people are shooting up churches and schools, where they're like, it's the first day of school, let's go kill some kids. Where else are they doing that? But best country, them other countries is unsafe. Cartel might get you. Am I selling drugs? Cartel ain't worried about me. Me as a hostage? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm not laboring. And you need to feed me regularly and well. Nah. All right. Oh. Exodus Summit 2022, original Move Abroad money, changed my life. Was saying I wanted to move abroad since elementary. I had no idea until then. And now she has a home in San Miguel de Allende. She has a new business idea that someone's making her do. And she is able to support herself with work. So I can't even figure out what I'm doing in a few months, or I'll be living in 1 month, but I know I'll be at Exodus Summit. I love y'all. Okay. No, Cartel ain't looking for me. For what? For what? I ain't got nothing for you. Okay. All right. So the summer change in my life I attend every year, always something to learn and be inspired by. This year we're talking about money. And one of the things I said earlier was that if you spend a year abroad, you're going to be like, how do I get to the money that is not clocking in back there with them people? The thought of having to swipe my badge to enter a building and sit in the face of men I would like to hit with a brick, just a little casual brick, just a little. I want to get my Naomi Campbell on and throw a blackberry in this mother, and I can't. I don't get to do that. I'm not going back there. And now, you know what? I never want to throw a blackberry at Stephanie. Never. Mm-mm. I go see her. She always orders great food, and we hang out and we walk about. We talk about work for like 5 minutes, and then we call it a business meeting, and that's it. There's no more. If I could just, right? No little like brick. No. And I did not know it was possible until I knew I couldn't do the old thing anymore. I knew I couldn't do the old thing anymore, and the job kind of created itself. And so for Exodus Summit 2025, we are talking about ways that you can create income for yourself, right? We create an income for yourself, whether that is in any way that you do it, is one of the easiest ways to take control of your life. Being your own boss. At least if you're not going to be your own boss, and I get it, not everybody wants to do that. Location independence and time freedom. That like I know I work for you, but these are the hours I want to work, and I would like to work from anywhere in the world, and I don't want to tell you where I am. Maybe let's get into that. Oh, Tanika. I attended my first Exit Summit last year, leaving on Friday for a gap year with my 3 kids. You know, I should be screenshotting these. Y'all are. That was my screenshot face. Okay. This is, you guys are you're so well positioned to do what you want. And if you live in America, you know that the job you have every single day is less reliable than the day before. Every single day, especially if you work for the government, the job you have is less. If you get government grant, if you do anything related to being Black or a woman or a person of color or science or medicine or fighting poverty, do you know you have 30 minutes? Do you? Find a different way, right? Do the thing you want to do on your own. And that's what we're talking about Exodus Summit this way. I have a list somewhere of some of the topics we announced. We're talking about, but it's not on. Why would my list not be here? It's in my bed. Because I'm a real hard nighttime worker. First, let me back up a second. Before I talk about topics at the summit, let's talk about the gap. The gap between how much you have right now and the gap between how much you think you want is a gap that you either need to reset expectations with one way or the other. Like maybe you don't really need as much as you think, and you can work on that expectation, or we just got to figure out how to fill the gap, right? If you took healthcare off, if you took the need for your job to provide healthcare, and you took the expense of American healthcare out of the equation, how much do you really need? How much do you really need? I could live in Mexico on $2,000 a month. I don't. Let me know. I don't, but I could. I could live here on $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. $72,000 for. I could live $72,000 for 3 years, and maybe I don't have it all now. Maybe I have 10. That gets me through almost 6 months, and gives me some time to get for whatever I'm working on, my new business strategy, solution, freelance, whatever it is I'm doing. It gives me some time to make that happen. One of the speakers at Exodus Summit this year is talking about how to get full-time pay while doing part-time work. She works sections of a year, but the money is more money than she was making when she was working full-time. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound good? Isn't that what you want for yourself? It's what I want. It's what I want for you. It's what I want for you. If you can, oh, Celeste says that's her situation too. Full-time pay for part-time work. Oh, Yam says that's essentially what she's been doing via freelancing while building her online business. We talked to her on the Exodus Summit channel. She does contracts, just some contract work here and there, and in between, she's building her business. And when the contract is over, she chills, building her business until it's time to do some more work again. But like the space of knowing that, like, imagine, you know how you have to, like, when you're working a job, you got to ask for vacation, and then you got to blah, 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 and you got to, you'll be back in a week and that email is just going to be full. Imagine working on a project starting on February 1st, because no, we're not starting on in January. Starting it on February 1st, knowing it's going to be over on the end of March. Is that the 31st? 30th? Let's call it the 31st of March. Yes. 2 months of work, and then you get to take 2 months off, and then you've made enough money from that contract that you don't have to work for 2 months after that. Doesn't that feel different than going to work, the stable job, the reliable job you know you have, but you hate, and knowing that you got to beg for this one, you got to negotiate to get your 1 week vacation. And then when the vacation's over, you're not relaxed because it took you like 3 days to get into the swing of things. But the minute you got on that plane to go back home, you're like, I gotta do this. A 2-month time off? Okay. So Reset with Celeste working 6.5 months this year. And Celeste still lives in the US, if I remember correctly. So she's paying for her US life, I believe, with 6.5 months of work. 9 months last year, 6 months of work before that, and paying for her full life. Yeah, she's in DC, which is expensive and terrible. Imagine if you could work 6 months and take 6 months off. We're gonna have speakers who can talk to you about how to structure your life and do that. All right. Leslie said, I plan on trading the funds I've saved in my HSA account to grow them and fund any medical expenses. I was bad with my HSA. I don't really know how all that works. I'd block it out now. But we do have someone coming to teach about day trading and making money that way. Which is something I know a lot of you are interested in. Just a little, some facts for you. What's going on with my thingy? My thingy is not working. You don't know what my thingy is, but it's not working. Hmm. Huh. Okay. So yes, you want to learn how to day trade? We have someone coming to do that who's very good. I'm not allowed to say nothing yet, but very good at day trading. We have people talking about what else are people talking about? My brain, I'm only halfway clocked in on a Sunday morning. Um, y'all out here talking about Celeste need to teach you her ways. Celeste not getting paid for this right now on the chat. We're gonna have someone paid to speak to you and teach you things at the summit. But also Celeste, amazing, amazing work. Amazing work. No one's talking about currency trading. Shoot me an email, Lucy, or us an email. What other topics are we covering? You know what? I have a whole spreadsheet open on my computer because I'm a spreadsheet person. We have someone talking about freelancing, and specifically freelance writing, right? I know a lot of y'all are like, I want to get in my writing bag. I want to get in my writing bag. We got someone, and she's going to talk more than just writing, but about how to set up a freelance business, whatever it is kind of freelancing you want to do, and get that. Wait. Do I? You think I'm Stephanie Perry? You think I'm Stephanie Perry, and that's the problem. Snitches get what? What? Don't play with me. I ain't never giving it up. Y'all gonna have to. I'll take it to my grave now. You'll know before then because we're gonna tell you in like less than a week. We have someone talking about. Well, I can't say this since Stephanie already told you Adelia was coming. Adelia's coming. She's gonna talk to you about like how to grow your money, right? If you're out of the US, how to manage your money in a way that it can grow. Some of that talk is gonna be about dividends and some other things, but like once you're abroad, what do you do with your money in order to pop, 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 pop? It is not Beyonce Mama. I mean, you about to get blocked around here. I appreciate you. I had to tell y'all yesterday, it is not Michelle Obama. Every once in a while, every year, y'all start guessing people, and I'm like, I don't know if y'all realize what these people charge to speak. Woo! But I'm a oh. Kim says, I'm talking to my husband. My car has 2 payments left. It's 5 years old. We're gonna sell it, and that's move abroad money. Yes. I'm happy for you. Okay. The other topics, since I have my spreadsheet now. I told you, that's going to be talking about money. We are going to be talking about taxes. We're talking about taxes? Taxes? Yes, we're going to talk about taxes. All right. We're going to talk about memberships, about how to create a community, an online community that pays. Please. Yes, it's not. Y'all don't want to pay for Michelle Obama to be here. You don't. All right. Stephanie, what is a topic I haven't talked about you think I need to mention? And while we're doing that, let me go back to my notes about where we were. I was talking about the gap between where you are and where you want to be, right? So if you want to have $90,000 for 3 years and you have $30,000 now, you can either, couple options. You could say, is there a place I can go where it'll cost me less than 90, right? You can say, I'm good with 90. If I leave now, this is how I'm going to, this is, I really hate y'all. Talk, and y'all out here distracting me with your foolishness. Why are you? Woo! Foolish. We're filling the gap. We're going to talk about how to, I'm here. We're filling the gap. You can wait until you have all 90 before you go, but that's a long time. If you have 30 and you want 90, that's a long time. All right. One thing you could do is leave now while figuring out how you can make money in a new place, right? Figuring out how you can make money in a new place and how you can manage to make continuous, dependable money in a new place. That's the thing that we are really focused on in this summit. Continuous, dependable money. We don't want to teach you how to do a thing that's going to get you $5 here and then $5 there, and then continuous, dependable money that you can rely on and that you can live on. We're talking about things that will get you enough money to live on, to fill the gap. So if you think you need 90 for 3 years, but you got 15 now, can you leave now? Probably. You can probably leave now if you're willing to do some work to fill the gap. But if you're like, when I leave, I'm not doing another bit of work, now you got to figure out how you're going to get from 15 to 90 before you leave. Sometimes you have to buy yourself some runway. When I left, and I was like, if I spend $36,000 in a year, I'll be okay. I spent $36,000 in a year. But like I said, I visited like 44 cities in 23 countries. That's not your plan. Don't do that. It wasn't smart. But that runway changed my life. The ability to say, I wake up in the morning and I do exactly what I want every single day was life-changing. Because whenever in your life have you ever had that experience? You get up in the morning and you get to do whatever it is you want for the whole day. And then you go to bed and you repeat day after day after day after day after day. You're not going to swipe that badge again, girly pop. That badge is, burn it. You're not going back to, once you get that runway, you're not going back. You're not. All right, Stephanie told me some things I forgot about. We're doing a course, we're doing a session on premium course creation. So how do you get, that's going to have some really good, I'm really excited about this one. As a course creator myself, I believe there are things I can learn. And we're going to learn with her together. We're going to learn about how you can, we talked to Teacher Jade years ago, 2022, about how to teach what you know online. And this is going to be like an amped up version of that, right? It's going to be a little, it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be different. Someone every day asked, how is this different than 2020? How's 2022 different from 2025? Besides Stephanie, who's speaking, and Adelia, who's speaking, and Rashida, who's maybe speaking, all the speakers are new, right? Most of the topics are new, or we're coming at them from a different perspective. So we gave you, I have no idea, let's call it let's call it 15 ideas of how different ways to make money in 2022. And some of y'all balled out. Some of y'all made so much money. Some of y'all saved so much money from 2022. And I know it because you tell us. We want the same thing for you in 2025, but we don't want to bring back the same thing because you could just go back and buy the replays, which you can't anymore. Please, I don't think you can. You can't buy 2022 anymore, right, Stephanie? I think if you have the replay, you can, and it's still in your watch window, you can still watch it, but you can't buy it anymore, I believe. I talked about membership communities already. We're going to talk about doing a membership, getting a lot of you online are community builders. So we're going to talk about how to get paid from your in the community you build, right? It's not necessarily like, it's not extractive. Getting paid as a community builder in a way that's not extractive from the community you're building. And somebody is talking about house sitting and work exchanges. We're not sure who the speaker for that one is yet, but I think you're going to be very pleased when you meet her. As always, Exeter Summit is for Black women. All the speakers will be Black women. All the speakers are paid because that's how we do things. Because this is a job like any other job. And yeah, Lauren Bishop is doing a video editing course to develop the skills to be an independent contractor doing video editing. That way I can just take my laptop and live anywhere I want and earn a living. This is what I mean about working on your own time. Even your work, doing work for other people, that freelancing, right? You're doing work for other people, but you're doing work when you want and where you want. This is what I want for you. It's what I want. It's my wish for you. Oh, Reed Bloom said grad school was that life for me. Grad school, law school was not that life for me. It was not. But I told you already, I've never been in school and not had, since I was 12, I've never been in school and not had multiple jobs to pay for school. You want to run track? You have to buy them shoes yourself. So I don't know joy and leisure in the same way some of y'all do. Devra says, or we get up in the afternoon. Your dog wants you to take her out in the morning. So what you doing, girl? Brown Girls Invest Too says that course creation is a lovely thing. I talked to our speaker for the course creation. And the minute she said hi, I was like, you are flooding my body with endorphins. I don't know what's going on. She smiled at me and I was like, "Sis, you gotta stop. It's too good. It's too joyful. It's too much. I'm here for serious business meeting, and it's like looking into the sun. Girlfriend. The dopamine flowing into me from you. I said, oh, pause. What are we? I might love you. Just joy. She's just joy. You're going to love her. Joy. Joy. We are having the exclusive member chat after this live stream, as always. So probably around 1 p.m. Eastern time. I never know when the live stream is going to end. So I try not to plan it too far ahead of time because I'd be talking. What does extractive mean in relation to communities? What I mean is that I want you, when I talk about making money from your community, we have seen how people make money in and from their communities in the past. And a lot of times it can be detrimental to the community. I'm looking at you, churches. Right? That's what I'm talking about. When I say extractive, that's what I mean. I want more of what we're talking about when we talk about membership communities is going to be more of if Black women ran the world, what would this look like? Does that answer your question, Tori? I hope it does. All right. Yeah, 2022 and 2025 are different situations. 2022, you might have been able to get a remote job from anywhere. And I'm not saying you can't get a remote job. Notice we have not said that yet. I'm not saying we're not going to cover remote work. I'm saying that the remote work landscape looks different now than it did in 2025 and 2022. And I honestly think that taking control of all of the facets of your life that you can is a much better choice for most people who can be identified as Black through a photo. If white people can tell you're Black, you need to start taking more ownership of your own life. Because the future's, I don't want to be all Debbie Downer, but it's Sunday and I'm here, so why not? I don't want to be all Debbie Downer, but we see where it's going, right? If there's a plane crash, there's got to be a Black person we can point to and blame, right? If there's a school shooter, there's a reason. There's a reason someone's going to reach into the depth of the depths and find a Black person as doing something, right? So I want you to take back the pieces of you that you can take back. And one of them is work. Yes. You do owe it to yourself to close the gap. Ooh, I'm realistic Rita. Look at that tattooed. All right. It's better to create your own money than wait for someone to give it to you. It's better to figure out how you can support your life in a sustainable way that if y'all don't want to leave here leaving how free Black woman feels, Sharice, who's going to be my guest probably next week, if y'all don't want to leave here leaving the way she feels, I don't know what we're doing here. Her ceilings, past tense, are now her floors, present tense. In so many aspects of her life. That can be you. That can be you. But we got to do some work, right? And the question is, how much work do you have to do? All my ostriches, we're doing work today. We're going to do some math. No matter how hard it is, I swear, I promise you guys, the math doesn't get easier by delaying it. And I would say 50% of the time when people do the math, it's not as bad as they imagine it to be. Because we are worst case scenario people. We are worst case scenario people. So you're always like, I have $3. And then you do a little digging and you got 3,000. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that feel better? Right? It's not thyroid cancer. It's gluten. Done and done. Thank you. Thank you. Right? Okay. So ostriches, we're taking our head out of the sand. We're doing the math. We're figuring out. Right? We're going to figure out where we want to go and how much money we need to go there. Not forever. Not forever. I want you to do the math for 3 years. If you only did the math for one, trust me, that'd be enough. But some of y'all a little scary. So I want y'all to do the math for 3 years. And then figure out the gap. How are you going to close the gap? Your method of closing the gap is probably at Exodus Summit 2025. Probably. If you're a Black woman. Oh, now why? My friend came in with the heat. If you give him permission to feed you, you're giving them permission to starve you. A word on this beautiful Sunday morning. It's not even morning for her either, because I'm sure she's in Portugal right now, luxuriating with her man. Because she moved to Portugal and got her health better, right? She moved to Portugal for the healthcare. moved to Portugal for the healthcare because it was better for her, and she's able to live better and healthier in Portugal than she could in the US. And if I remember correctly, her man, who was on the Exodus Summit channel, I believe he said that they would not have been able to retire if they lived in the US, probably ever, if I remember correctly. I'm not getting them confused with somebody else. Gene's hard to confuse with other people. They would not have retired living in the US. And now they live in Coimbra, Portugal. Luxuriating, frolicking. They are frolicking. Improved health, better doctors, better food, lower cost of living. Frolicking. I would did I not do that? Sorry, y'all. You know how I feel about my phone making noises. Oof. Okay. Yes. A whole moved to another country, whole new life, happier, healthier. Now, for somebody I have to call out real quick. Let's see. Real quick. Awkward Black Nomad is talking to someone when she says a lot of people could leave today, but they're afraid. I would like to know if she's talking to herself. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? What you doing? What you doing, friend? Let's call out our. Was that one of those notes to self? That reads like a note to self to me. It reads like a note to self. So I'm going to assume that's what that was. And we're going to slide right past it. I live in love. And my love, that's what it feels like. This is what it feels like to be loved wholly and fully by me. DJ Quick wants to know why you're bullshitting. And I in my soul to ask that question as well. Thank you. I'm sorry. All right. Did we do it? I think we did it. Really, everything you need to know is fill the gap. Everything else is easy. Everything else is easy, right? Fill the gap. Are you going to fill it? Do you need to truly fill it before you leave? You don't. You need to fill the whole gap. You need to get a certain number of dollars that you feel comfortable with leaving, because somebody's going to feel comfortable leaving with 1 month money. Someone's going to need 6, someone's going to need a year, right? Someone's going to need all 3 years. It's a different amount of money for everybody. I can't tell you to leave with 1 month money. I can't tell you to wait until you have 36 months of money to leave, right? What I can tell you is figure out what number it is for you and stick with that number. CK, stick with that number. Pick a number, write it down, put it on your screen, stick with it. Stick with it. Hey, Teresa. Voted by PNW says, hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. Are we having fun? We're having a good time. And Kishi wants to know what I'm sipping on. If I'm drinking anything if I drink something, you're going to see it in a clear glass. I will never hide alcohol from you. It's water. I drink a lot of water. You will know when I'm drinking alcohol. I hardly ever drink anything else. It's water or alcohol, and you will know. The alcohol is going to be in a fancy glass. You will know. This is water. This is water. This Sunday morning energy. And yes, I knew. The call is coming from inside the house. I know. But you got to say that. You can't just be showing up, acting like you got the word for somebody else. All right. You're going to figure out how much money you need, how much money you're comfortable with leaving with, and how you're going to fill the gap between my two thumbs. Right? How much money you need, how much money you're comfortable leaving with, and how you're going to fill the gap between the thumbs. That's all. That's all. Right? You want to figure out, when you figure out how much money you need, let the place you're going play a role in that. Right? Are you going to a place where you need more money? Less? Can you find a place where you need less money? Can you figure out how to go to a place that and live on less than other people are living on? You could live in Mexico City. I'm not gonna tell. I don't know what I live on because I believe in tracking my money. I don't believe in budgeting. I say that as someone with no debt. This is not an everybody situation. I am someone with no debt. I owe nobody anything. No debt. And savings and investments. And therefore, where my money goes is something I'm interested in hindsight. Like, oh, okay, that's what she did. But where she's going to go is not my business. I don't tell her what to do. I don't tell her what to do. That's my approach. There was a time where I had to check my bank account every day, every single day. Back in 2000, I would say, and 2004, I was checking my bank account every because what's gonna bounce? I am not in that place anymore. And so I'm not a budgeter. I cannot tell you and when I track, I don't actually do categories. I just want to see my business. You can live in the city in less than I do. Like I said, I could live here on $2,000 a month. And it's the second most expensive city in Mexico. Right? There are significantly less expensive places to live. There are less expensive countries in the world than Mexico. Mexico, for all the crap people talk about it, is a very Western country. It's right here. It's our neighbor. It's not that different. It's not that different. It's not that different, except in ways that really mean things. Like, we're not sitting down here waiting for a cheeseburger to do his big one. Our president's normal. Yes, that's 200 a month USD. I could live here on 2,000. Sorry, 2,000 a month USD. I could live here on 2,000 a month USD. I don't, but I could. CK wants to know if I was debt free when I left for my year abroad. Yes, because I hate debt. I was debt free years before I left for moving abroad because debt stresses me out. All my student loans, we're looking around $200,000 in student loan debt and the house and whatever. And I was like, no forgiveness. I'm working. They gonna get their money real quick. The student loan debt is so nefarious. What do you mean I've been paying on this every month without stop for 10 years and I owe more money than when I borrowed it? Uh, take a nap. Where that propofol at? Like, what are we? We lost Michael Jackson to a medical mistake, and yet I say all these things on the internet. And I shouldn't say any of it. I shouldn't. Oh, I shouldn't say any of this. But where are the medical errors? What are we? Mm. Anyway, I think we did it. Let me see if there's anything that I started to talk about and didn't talk about. Celeste, thank you for joining the membership. I will post something on my page, my YouTube page, in a few minutes, giving details about how to join the Zoom meetup in about 20 minutes. This is the original question I said I was going to get to. How do you retire with student loans and regular debt? I hated debt, so I paid off debt. So I don't want nobody talking to me about that. If you don't feel so strongly about it, maybe retirement, maybe your version of retirement is one that allows you to pay off some of your debt, right? So maybe it is like the woman who talked about, like Celeste, who talked about working 6 months this year, 9 months the year before, and 6.5 months the year before that. Maybe you, instead of working 6 months, you work 8 months out of the year. And maybe that doesn't feel like retirement for a year or 2 or 3 until you're out of debt. But if you can do that, if you can work 8 months, take 4 months off out of the year, and continue to pay off your debt, I think that's going to feel better than whatever you got going on right now. And I don't know what you have going on right now, but I'm just willing to bet. Because I bet on y'all. I bet on y'all every day. I'm willing to bet that that feels better. Mm-mm. I'm willing to bet it feels working 8 months and being able to take care of your living expenses and pay off debt and get 4 months off as a break a year would feel better. Andrea came with a little update. We wouldn't have retired in our 50s with the lifestyle and the ability to travel. We had double the healthcare coverage. It was the toxic food, medication overload, and Black excellence killing us. Toxic food, medication overload, and Black excellence killing us. That applies to a lot more of you than you're willing to actually acknowledge. And in the chat, numbers, people are giving good tips about getting student loans forgiven or deferring them, if you're seeing that. We will live our best life. Whatever that means, wherever you are, I want that for you, right? So why retire early? Because working for the man sucks. I want to work every day and I'd be like, I am making a German family richer than they were yesterday. I am stressed. These people are in my office yelling. We don't yell at me, so we need to turn around and leave and come back a little later because of what's going on. We don't never yell at Rashida. Friendly tip, never yell at Rashida. Anyway, and then I moved to a new job and I'm making one specific man that I see walking around this building. I am making one specific man richer than any man I've ever met before in my life. I see him. I spend my whole day making sure this one man is going to be richer tomorrow than he is today. Yes, consumer protections and blah, 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 and do boop, boop, and at the end of the day, I am working so I can feed myself, barely, because rent expensive and Oakland was expensive. Have health insurance, which wasn't that valuable because it's co-pays. And I gotta, what is this? And to make this white man richer. This is not, I'm just cooking in that pot. This is not what he was said. He didn't say, let's, you should be out here making Travis Kalanick richer. That's not what he said. It's not what he said. I know it. Now I do whatever I want. I help Black women find joy. Right? Make joy your compass, follow it where it takes you. That's what I do. That might have been what he was planning up there. Might have been. It's more likely to have been. Right? Because joy was meant for all of us. And we're going to find it where we find it. All right. That's why we retire early. Why abroad? The healthcare situation. The healthcare and the costs overall. Like Andrea said, they wouldn't have been able to retire in their 50s. Traveling, living a good life. If they were still in Texas. They wouldn't have been able to do that. They had to leave the country to do that. They are healthier. They are happier now outside of the country. They get better healthcare. Better healthcare for less money. Extract yourself from the American experiment. It is failing. It has failed. It will continue to fail because it's a failure. It's a failure. Extract yourself from it. Those are the whys. Those are my whys for you. You may have your own whys. Do the math. Figure out the gap. Figure out how you can fill the gap. And then press the button and do it. Don't be like CK talking about the number keeps changing. Or our friend Kyoka talking about some people are just scared when she's the one who's scared. Go for it. Do it now. Do it now. The great American experiment is a failure. It has been failing since the very first one of them Brits stepped foot on this land. It will continue to fail and it will not get better. And it won't get better for you. If you're watching this right now, it's not going to get better for you. So let's get out. All right, friends. Love you so much. We'll talk to you next week, probably with Free Black Woman, probably with Sharice, because she out here dropping gems. And I feel like, why is she dropping gems in the comments, but she can be talking to y'all directly? All right. My first Exit Summit 2022 replay was a life changer for me. I left my toxic nursing home of UK in 2023 and have not looked back. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you so much. Once again, let me do a little screenshot. Did that work? I don't know. Yes, I think that worked. Yes, you guys deserve. Screenshot base. All right. Y'all got this. I will see you guys next. I'm going to drop the link to Exit Summit again because if you don't already have a ticket, you should have your ticket. Right? If you're like, you're just saying that because you're selling tickets, yes and no. Yeah, it's going to happen whether you're there or not, right? The women who, as you can see from the comments here, the women who are going to be at Exodus Summit 2025 are going to have different lives in 2026 and 2027, right? They're going to have a different life than they have today. And not a single one of them has said it's the worst life. Not a single one of them has said, I attended Exodus Summit and y'all fucked me up. Nobody has said that, right? It's all, I'm taking my daughter on our sabbatical. I left 2 years ago. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. They are living better lives today. And whether that is directly from Exodus Summit or not, I don't know. I'm taking the credit. I'm taking the credit. And And TK wants to remind you of the all access pass. Will bless you. It will. I did not pay her to say that. I have paid none of these people to say anything. Exodus Summit really is a life-changing experience. Early bird ends on August 19th. R. Adams is buying a ticket before early bird ends. Y'all need to buy your tickets before early bird ends. And there's a prize for the first X number of people who buy tickets. We haven't reached that number yet, even though I don't know exactly what the number is. I gotta work out some stuff first. All right, friends. Yolanda coming to us from Spain. It's probably what, 4 in the afternoon for her. And she's talking about Exodus Summit giving the inspiration, insight, and hope, and facts and plans to make this happen. Early bird earns September 19th. Thank you. I just say things. I've been talking for an hour and 50 minutes. You gotta let me just do what I do. Come on. All right, friends. Love you, mean it. Membership will meet at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna put the thing up now. I will talk to you guys on the other side. Let's do it.